when I was 18 years old, this lovely show called The Caravan of Glam came into town, and at the time, one of my best friends, who's still my best friend to this day, his uncle is a drag queen, and Curdy St. James, rest in peace, we love you. She got me to come to this show, and we literally were able to go see both showings, and one of the performers there was Jayla Rose, and I just remember being in such awe watching her do a triple backflip in 6-inch bordellos, and I was like immediately just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And shortly after that, I just started like sitting in my bedroom and practicing makeup and just being like, hey, I want to kind of try this out. And then one day I went out into a show, and I was like just going out partying with friends in drag, and somebody saw me and was just like, hey, where do you perform at? And I said, I don't perform. And they said, yes, you do. Here's the next show that we're in, and you're going to be performing. Give me 2 numbers on CDs, and you better be there on time. And I said, oh, okay. And I took that as a challenge, and I did that show, and I haven't stopped. And so it's always been it's such a weird moment and like full circle moment to be working with like Jayla and Justin, because they were literally the first show I ever saw, and now I'm regularly working with them, and it's just so cool.
How did you get into drag?
So I got into drag on a dare. I was 19 years old, and my best friend at the time bet me money that I wouldn't get up and do it. So I put a whole act together and performed it like an amateur night, and here I am today.
What is so important or unique about drag as an art form to you?
Both. On a personal level, I think it allows people to take all of the stress and anxiety of the world and put a costume over it and express it to the world. You know, like, I know that when I first started doing performance art, I would take things that I was going through and build an act around it, whether it was depression or a breakup or losing a job, just the stress and anxiety of the world, and I would throw it on stage and give it to the world. And some of the best acts that I've done through that, people have come back with feedback and been like, I felt you there. I can resonate with that. And I think drag is important in that same way. People see what they can be or what's going on inside their heads on stage in a more extravagant form.
At first, I thought that drag was just about kind of dressing up and making a fool of yourself, and I was very against it. And then I realized that there was more to it, and yeah.
So you were against drag?
Yeah.
Wow. And what changed your mind?
So I grew up in a very tiny town that was very conservative, and moving to a bigger city, moving to Portland, kind of opened up my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know about.
I'm the resident burlesque performer with Diva Drag Brunch, and I've been doing burlesque for 15 years. Very long time. Burlesque and drag, a lot of times, like, there's a lot of overlap. There's so much overlap. I mean, truly. I mean, we all wear a lot of makeup. We all have like wild and crazy costumes. I guess personally, the big difference with me is I probably take more of my clothes off.
What is your favorite part of performing drag?
I just love the opportunity to like really like engage with an audience. I love that feeling of like celebration of like just a queer art form that is drag, and being able to see so many different walks of life come to a show and just have almost this euphoria with it and just get so excited for what we're doing, and it gives me so much energy and so much like support that like what I'm doing has a value, and it also can impact a lot of people out there.
What I love about performing and doing what I do is I love giving visibility to trans-identifying people because there is a space for them in the drag community. There doesn't need to be a black and white, a right and wrong kind of way about going about life. Whatever expression you're feeling about wanting to portray on stage is all on you. And I love being able to travel and meet people from all different walks of life and different cities and towns, and hopefully inspiring them to live as authentically as possible. Yeah.
Have you ever heard from anybody in any of the crowds you performed for with positive responses?
Yeah, definitely have. I mean, there's been shows I've cried at. I'm not gonna lie. Like, being a hostess, I get to like literally talk to people during the shows, and a lot of times I've had people come up to me afterwards, like in tears and hugging me, like, thank you for what you said. Like, it really spoke to me, and like, you know, especially when I bring up, you know, talking about supporting trans people and supporting people of color in our communities, because even to this day we still are battling with that to you know, allow people that are queer and people that are of different colors, you know, into different spaces, which is absolutely ridiculous. So like, them getting to be at these shows and feel celebrated and see themselves in the performers, being Mexican and being a queer person, like being able to see that in somebody else in the audience is a really special moment. And I've had a couple people like come out to me even at shows and be like, I literally identify with you as well, and just hug me and cry, and those are always like the most special moments for me, honestly.
With tonight's show being what it is, and you know, with everything that I've talked about community and outreach and finding queer spaces, raising money for a place that is supporting those things that I talked about is so important. And having something like the YWCA is a good place to start to be on stage, or to find community, or to find friends and family that you didn't know you had. So I'm grateful to be here to help raise awareness and money for that.